What's up YouTube? Ian Sandusky back here again for Let's Machine. Today on Shop Talk we're going to be talking about something that's been on my mind for a long time, but I guess has kind of come to a head. And that's what I call gotcha advice or so there advice. Now, I see this a lot online, but I've also seen it in person. I've seen it at other shops. I've seen guys do it. I've had tooling reps do it to me before. What gotcha advice is when somebody gives advice or you give advice, but really you're doing it maliciously. So for instance, I got a YouTube comment the other day, and or no, sorry, it was an Instagram comment. I was posting some threads we were turning in the shop on the Haas ST20 lathe, and some guy comments, "Are you really using are you really programming to turn threads? You could totally just do this by typing all this, whatever. You don't need to use programming for that, like programming software such as Mastercam." Now, the thing with advice like this is it's not really advice. The kind of litmus test for it is this thing I'm saying to this person right now going to help them, or is it to make me feel better about myself? Was that guy right, and could theoretically I use, I mean, I'm not really a lathe guy, but could theoretically I just program, in G code, how to turn these threads instead of programming it in a machine? For sure. There's nothing wrong with that. Did that help me at all? No. Anytime I see stuff like this, all I want to say is, or I see it on YouTube, I see some people comment on my stuff here sometimes and say, "Are you really doing this? Like, dude, you totally don't need to do that. Do this instead." It's not helpful. The litmus test for it is, like I said, but I don't know, it's one of those things where the second I see people do this, I just want to go, good job, dude. Congratulations. You just totally, I mean, not even myself, but you just totally killed this interaction. The person you're giving this advice to now probably thinks you're an asshole, isn't going to listen to anything you say, and it didn't help them at all. You just burned a business relationship, you just burned a future personal relationship. Maybe you're going to work for them someday. Maybe they're actually a purchaser at a company and now they don't like you or your company because you decided to be a know-it-all, right? Egos in this business are enormous. I'm involved in a lot of things, from music to bodybuilding to a ton of different interests. I have never seen egos so large as they are in this industry. Everybody's an expert in everything. Everybody knows the perfect way to do everything. If you've watched any of my videos, one of the first things I always say is there's a million ways to do everything. And there is. In machining, you could approach things from a million different ways. Telling someone that they're an idiot for doing it this way because they don't have a fifth axis, you don't understand what their capabilities are sometimes. You don't understand what that person knows. You don't understand, maybe that guy isn't using the tooling that you think they should be using because they can't afford it. And right now they're trying to get going. Maybe they're not using that tooling because their boss is not letting them spend money. Maybe they're using that tooling because it's what they had on hand and they just want to use it, right? There's nothing wrong with giving advice. Here's what I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with giving advice. But when you give advice, you need to make sure you're giving advice. I get advice here all the time where people go, "Man, you should try this next time." That isn't gotcha advice. That's just someone trying to be helpful. And you know what? I honestly listen to that stuff all the time. It's the same way, when you have an apprentice in your shop. If they come to you with a question and you go, "You're a moron, man. Like, come on, you got to know that you do it this way, you do it this way, you do it this way." That apprentice is now never going to ask you a question again. They're going to make parts incorrectly, and it doesn't help anybody. Conversely to this is you also need to check your ego at the door when receiving criticism. Not every piece of advice that you don't agree with is this kind of malicious advice I'm telling you about. I've met a ton of machinists in my day that you can't tell anything. When they come to me and a part is broken, they say it was because, the machine glitched out. The Mastercam posted it weird. The tool randomly broke for no reason. Everybody knows machinists like this. They are the alpha and omega of machining. Nothing is ever their fault. If you give them a suggestion, it's a personal attack. Listen, being like that is no better than being a know-it-all. And a lot of these guys are the same guys and they're not helpful. I refuse to work with guys like this these days. I don't hire them. If I go to a shop or I meet someone who's like that, I won't sub out work to them. I'm too tired for it. I'm too old for it. I'm tired of it. There's no good reason to be like that. When someone gives you advice and they're just honestly giving you advice, even if you don't agree with it, check your ego at the door for a second and say, "Listen, maybe this isn't the way I was going to go about doing this, but you know what, that's a really good idea. Let me try that." Maybe you tried it and it doesn't work. All I'm saying is, on both sides of the equation, whether you're giving advice or receiving advice or criticism, you need to check your ego at the door. There's no place in machining to be the big dog and, you know, the know-it-all and all this. It doesn't help anybody, it doesn't help you, and I guarantee other people don't want to work with you if that's the case, okay? I hope this has been helpful today, guys. You know, this isn't really a directly machine-related thing. You know, it could relate to a lot of different things going on. I've just been dealing with a lot of this right now, so, you know, I'm trying to keep things relevant as they relate to me. If you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe below. Thank you as always for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. You take care.